All right, we're gonna go ahead and open up the hardware kits we get with the bumper. Yeah, this stuff will be stuck in there with the expanding foam they put in with it. All right, these guys are the mounting brackets for the rear bumper. And then this is the hardware kit that will bolt our brackets on with. And then this is a bracket that will relocate the third brake light to accommodate with 35 or 37-inch tires. Now that we got a bumper out, I'm gonna work on getting our stock harness installed into our new bumper. I start by cutting off all these clips on it. We won't use them to hold the harness in our bumper, so having them on there is just kind of extra unnecessary and it doesn't look real appealing, so I cut them off. All right, next I'm gonna get our sensors installed into their new locations. They'll require a little bit of modification since the material thickness of these new bumpers is a bit thicker than the original bumpers. So first we're going to modify this plastic ring here. All these tabs on the front of it, we're going to have to shave down completely flat on the front face of that. And then on the back of here, we've got these little tabs that go around that we're going to have to trim off as well. So for these, I just cut them off with a razor blade. And then that's the only part of that we're going to modify. Now we just got to finish getting this one done. I use the bench grinder. We trimmed off the tabs all around this sensor so it fits in the hole in our bumper. And then we leveled off the face of this so it sits so that the tabs that hold the sensor in sit a little bit closer to the outer ring since our bumper is a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and try and fit it in, see if we shaved enough of this off yet. If not, we can always grind a little bit more off, but I take it slow because once you grind too much of this off, you're never going to get your sensor to fit in there snugly. Black ring will go in from the outside, and then the white ring slides in there. And it looks like, yeah, it just fit. So my white tab, both on the top and the bottom, are both locked into place. So the black one's not going to push out or anything. It's in there good. So once that's in place, we can fit our sensor in. The plug side will come out this way. It comes close to the ledge on the bumper, so you'll have to aim it down just a little bit. Just enough to get the harness to plug in. That looks pretty good. And then the two inside sensors are different. They don't have the white ring to deal with. So all we're gonna have to do on these guys is trim down the tabs for the black ring. So same process, we're gonna cut these off. If they don't fit, there are cutouts, so usually those will line up. Some bumpers will have just a slightly different ring that doesn't fit and they might need trimmed. And then these tabs here are what we're gonna shorten to get it to fit with the thicker metal bumper. Again, I'm just going to take my razor blade and cut off just a little bit of that tab. And I'm going to do this a small piece at a time until I can get it to fit snugly in there. So just the tops of that tab is what I cut off. And you'll do that on both sides. All right, the sensor only fits into the black ring one way. We want to face the plug side towards the inside of the bumper here. And now that one's in there good too. It's the same thing on this side as well. Inside's just got the black ring. That outside will have both the white and the black, but trimming these down to get them to fit is the same process. All right, with all of our sensors in, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in our harness. You can put this in backwards. It won't 100% fit. The way to know which side is which, if you didn't pay attention when you removed it, is the side with the license plate light's obviously gonna go where our license plate mounts. But all the plugs are the same, so you could even plug the license plate light into a sensor by accident if you're not paying attention. And now we get to install the light. We've got to trim this up just a little bit as well to get it to fit with our new bumper. So same thing, these mounting tabs we're going to have to cut just a little bit shorter. It's got one on each side. And then these ridges on the front here can also cause a problem. You might have to shave just the very front of this side off because the hole, once it's got powder coat in the hole that this mounts in, is a little bit tight, so you might need to shave just the front of this ridge right here off as well. So I cut just a little bit more. So I cut just a little bit more off than the tab at the bottom. You'll see here is like where the very top of it gets a little bit thicker. That's right where I cut that flush off at. Right where that ridge is, I cut the very bottom of that off. And that's all you need to get that to fit in. And then this is that little ridge on the front I shave off just a little bit. And then this sensor is going to fit in from the outside. It'll fit right up in that hole. You'll kind of put the hooks right here near the plug. We'll hook on first, and then the top will rotate down, and you'll hear it click into place. All right, now we're ready for those brackets we opened up earlier. So this is the hardware that came out of our bags that we will be using. This stuff here is to mount our brackets on with those. These are what we're going to use to hold our license plates on. And then for the people that don't have the parking sensors and harness in their truck, you will get 4 of these. These just kind of pop in like that and go to fill in the holes in the bumper for the sensors if you don't have them. Since this bumper has them, I won't be using these. All right, I'm going to install these J-clips in right here. These are what hold on our brackets. We're going to only use them on the top 2 holes on either side. And then our brackets are going to sit right here. And we can put these on loose for now. We won't want to tighten them up until we've got the bumper on the vehicle. And we want to make sure that we're putting it on with the bottom mounting holes facing the inside of the truck. You can put those on backwards and it will not fit. And then the last bolt on these is going to be the Allen head bolt. We put that on the bottom with the nut on the inside. This will be visible from the outside of the car, so that's why we use the Allen head. It just looks a little bit nicer. And again, that can be loose for now. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and secure this harness in place so it's not hanging out loose. Start on one side with some zip ties. We wanna make sure we leave enough on the end here to get this plug out to the end of the bumper so we can plug it into the truck when we're done here. With the harness all secured, I'm going to make sure all my sensors and our license plate light are all plugged in. And that the harness is totally out of the way, not going to hang down loose or anything. And it looks like we are ready to go ahead and throw this on the truck. And this is going to bolt right back to the factory spot on the bottom of the frame rails. Now we left the brackets on here loose, so our bumper is still a little bit loose and adjustable. So what we're gonna do is make sure that this is all sitting level, and I'll adjust it up a little bit closer to the body here so that that gap's a little bit smaller, and then we'll tighten those bolts down from the back side here. All right, with all 4 of the silver bolts on the back, 2 on each side tightened, I'm gonna tighten this guy up last. And then last but not least, we're going to plug back in our sensors. There's a plug on either side. If these don't get plugged in, you'll get all kind of warning lights on the dash. So, and we're good to go. And that's the last step. Now your bumper's ready to go.